I want to show you all this clip from Congressman Greg Landsman. He's from Ohio's 1st District. It's a little bit long, but I think everything he says is really important. And so please watch and then come back and I want to talk about it.
Everything is or feels very messed up right now, but this is how we fix it. If we do these two things, we will get out of this mess. America has become unaffordable. People are very worried about public safety. The government still does not work for most people who really need it. And the assault on our democracy is very, very real. So to fix it, we have to do two big things. Number one, resistance is not enough. We need a full-blown plan. We need a governing document that explains to the American people how we're going to fix the economy, how we're going to keep people safe, how we're going to fix democracy, the government, everything. We're going to fix everything, and here's how. Okay, so in 1994, Republicans did something similar. They introduced to the American people their governing document, which was called the Contract with America. It was the 10 bills they would pass if they got the majority. They were very, very successful. We can call ours something different, like our pledge to America, but here are the 10 bills that will fundamentally fix what they've broken. Number one, the Reward Hard Work, Not Wealth Act. This is the alternative to the terrible budget bill they just passed. It would fix the tax code, making sure that everybody at the top pays all their taxes, and that gets invested in working folks, small businesses, farmers, the middle class. They get meaningful tax relief. Number two, the Build Baby Bill bill. That's a lot, I know. But we got to start building again in this country, infrastructure and housing in particular, but you can also include broadband. This bill would do that. All of the reforms that we need and the investments to build a ton of new housing, lowering rents and housing costs, a ton of infrastructure, and laying broadband all over the country. Number three, Improve Care, Lower Costs Act. This is the bill that would expand access to health care. It would create a public option. People should be able to buy into Medicare, and it would lower costs significantly by requiring full transparency for insurance companies, pharmaceutical companies, hospitals, and it would get us back into negotiating lower prescription drug prices across the board. Number four, the Improve Education Act. Neither party has had a plan to improve educational outcomes in decades. This bill would invest in early childhood education, including prenatal care, paid family leave, child care, preschool, making sure that every single kid in America shows up to kindergarten ready. The bill would also make college and the trades much more accessible and much more affordable. Number five, Improve the Federal Government Act. This is really important. This bill would require independent audits of every agency and then a binding vote. Congress has to take up the vote on waste, fraud, and abuse in that independent audit. The bill would also include a number of anti-corruption measures. Number six, the Fix Our Democracy bill, or the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, end voter suppression, end partisan gerrymandering, end dark money, and get politicians out of the business of buying and selling individual stocks. Number seven, the 21st century anti-crime bill. Communities across the country, particularly cities, are really struggling with gun violence. They need more police officers and they need real gun reform. Restoring Personal Liberties Act. This bill would protect personal autonomy, from reproductive freedom to LGBTQ issues. Number nine, the Border Security and Immigration Reform Act. This bill would include additional Border Patrol officers, more judges, asylum reform, and perhaps most importantly, legal pathways for folks who have been working here and for dreamers. And finally, number 10, the Strengthening America's Global Leadership Act. This would reaffirm our role in global alliances, our fight against authoritarianism here and abroad, and promoting democracy and trade. Also, this bill would reinvest in the foreign aid we know is so critical to our national security and just us as human beings. Second big thing is we need a new entity. We need a group of people and leadership dedicated entirely to this moment. We need this to reframe the narrative and meet this moment fully. And I think it has to have the moral seriousness and political discipline that the civil rights movement did. So people all over the country know that what they're seeing right now is very bad, but there's a better way forward and we can get there. These are the two big things that I believe will help us fix what they've broken.
What do y'all think about that? That was pretty comprehensive. That seems significantly more organized and proactive than any plan I've seen put forward by the DNC. I understand the DNC's job is really just to get somebody elected president. I understand that they aren't what everybody thinks they're all about, but it's far more comprehensive than I have seen from Democratic leadership. I'm not sure I agree with everything in Congressman Landsman's plan, but dang, yes, we need to reestablish our aid around the world. That's good for us morally. It's the right thing to do. It will stop 14 million people from dying. Yes, we need to make sure that there is accountability. Yes, we have to get dark money out of our politics, foreign interest out of our politics. I think there has got to be a heavy, heavy bent from the Democrats on ending corruption. That's going to mean that some Democrats have to go. We would be foolish to think that there are not Democrats that are not corrupt and are not in the pocket of foreign interest and big business, because there absolutely are. I mean, look how hard Nancy Pelosi pushed against rules that would forbid Congress from selling single stocks, owning single stocks, trading in single stocks. Like, why would she do that other than to personally enrich herself? It's a clear conflict of interest. AOC has been pushing for legislation that would forbid Congress from trading in single stocks for years, and we have seen wealthy corporate Democrats who oppose it. And it just fuels this false narrative from Republicans that Democrats are the party of corporate elites and they don't care about the working class at all. Some of them really don't care about the working class at all, but sure as fuck none of the Republicans do. They are a fully consolidated fascist party who only cares about serving their dear leader, Donald Trump, and destroying democracy in order to protect their power and wealth. One of the things that Ezra from Indivisible talks about is like, how are Democrats distinguishing themselves from Republicans? What are you giving them that's different? Because if Democrats just look like Republican light, if they just look like Republicans plus a whole bunch of like woke snowflake social justice propaganda, right? If it's just Republicans minus as much racism and transphobia, then Republicans are not going to vote for Democrats because they look functionally the same, but Republicans offer them all of the isms and all of the bigotry that they also want to support. If you don't look like you're a party for the working class because you're not functioning as a party for the working class, then you're never going to get working class Republicans to support you. And I think that we can have compelling platforms, policies, programs, aims like Greg Landsman is putting forth here without throwing our trans folks, our people of color, our children, our disabled folks under the bus. I don't think that we have to do any of that. We don't have to move the Overton window to the right. We don't have to abandon the social policies and programs that help people on the margins, that help vulnerable people, in order to draw in people who voted this time around for Donald Trump or did not bother to vote at all because they could not tell what's the difference between these two parties. I mean, we could argue about how Kamala Harris had a ton of progressive things on her platform that actually would have really helped working class people, but the messaging was terrible, the timeline was too tight, etc., racism and misogyny. But in general, if we're looking especially at the midterms, we're just talking about Congress in the midterms, Democrats have got to have a clear message that they are communicating. This is how we are different from the Republicans. This is what we're going to do to help you, help fix this country, help restore democracy, give you access to the American dream. We are going to be able to do all of that. We are going to have a spine. We are going to demand justice. We are going to call for an end to corruption. We are going to bring about all kinds of reforms that will help the American people. Ending corruption, making sure this doesn't happen again, making sure that we have reforms that get dark money, dark foreign interest out of our politics, creating a party that works for the working class, that wants to represent the people, that understands people over profit, community over corporations, the Constitution over an oligarchy. I think that's a winning and compelling platform. So I would love to know what you think about that. And now my dog's barking at the mailman, so I'm going to go see what package just arrived.